Bones, blooms, and ink, the tattooed spirit of Dia de los Muertos. Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead, is one of the most vibrant and meaningful cultural celebrations to come out of Mexico. At its heart, the holiday is about honoring those who have passed away, not with silence or mourning, but with color, music, food, and symbols that affirm the cycle of life and death. For many people, tattoos inspired by this holiday go beyond decoration. They become a form of storytelling, remembrance, and personal identity, carrying with them the deep cultural resonance of Dia de los Muertos. To understand why tattoos and Dia de los Muertos pair so seamlessly, it helps to look at the philosophy of the holiday itself. Unlike many Western traditions that frame death primarily in terms of loss, Dia de los Muertos celebrates life by acknowledging death as a natural and essential part of existence. Families build altars, or ofrendas, filled with marigolds, candles, food, and photographs of loved ones who have died. Streets and cemeteries glow with lights and dance with color, creating spaces where the living and the dead meet. It is a holiday rooted in both indigenous practices and Catholic influence, resulting in a cultural tapestry that sees death not as an end, but as a continuation. This embrace of both life and death resonates strongly with the art of tattooing, which is itself a practice of permanence, transformation, and expression. One of the most iconic images associated with Dia de los Muertos is the sugar skull, or the calavera, which has found a unique and lasting place in the world of tattooing. Originally, sugar skulls were literal confections, small skull-shaped candies made from sugar and decorated with icing, foil, and beads. These edible offerings represented the sweetness of life and the individuality of the soul. In tattoo form, the sugar skull maintains these symbolic layers but adds new ones, becoming a piece of art carried on the body. The designs are often personalized. One might see a sugar skull inked with roses, marigolds, or patterns meaningful to the wearer. Names, initials, or dates of birth and death are sometimes included, turning the tattoo into an eternal altar permanently marked on the skin. What makes sugar skull tattoos especially powerful is their duality. On the surface, they can appear whimsical or even playful, with bright colors and smiling skulls. But underneath, they hold deep personal meaning as markers of remembrance and love. For someone who has lost a family member or close friend, the tattooed sugar skull is a permanent tribute, ensuring that memory never fades. Unlike a photograph that might be tucked away in an album or an altar built once a year, a tattoo remains visible and enduring. It becomes part of the person's daily life, a reminder that those we love continue to shape us even after death. Tattooing itself also carries a sense of ritual, which echoes the ceremonial nature of Dia de los Muertos. The process involves intention, pain, healing, and permanence, qualities that mirror the emotional journey of grief and remembrance. Just as families prepare ofrendas with care and thought, individuals often approach a Dia de los Muertos tattoo with deep personal reflection. The design, placement, and symbolism are chosen with purpose, transforming the skin into a canvas of memory. The artistry of Dia de los Muertos tattoos extends beyond the sugar skull. Other traditional motifs often appear in ink, each carrying its own symbolic weight. Marigolds are known as the flower of death and are believed to guide spirits back to the world of the living with their vibrant orange hue and strong scent. Candles representing light and hope are sometimes woven into designs. Skeletons dressed in clothing, a nod to Jose Guadalupe Posada's famous La Calavera Catrina, also make frequent appearances. Each element contributes to a larger narrative that combines beauty, humor, reverence, and love, a blend that is central to Dia de los Muertos itself. It's also important to acknowledge the cultural roots of these tattoos. Dia de los Muertos is a Mexican tradition with indigenous origins, and the sugar skull is a culturally specific symbol. As tattoos featuring these designs grow in global popularity, conversations around cultural appreciation and appropriation emerge. For those outside of Mexican heritage, choosing such a tattoo should be approached with respect and understanding. Learning about the holiday's history, symbolism, and meaning ensures that the tattoo honors the tradition rather than reducing it to a trendy design. For those with cultural ties, the tattoos often serve as powerful personal connections to family history, ancestry, and identity. In recent years, Dia de los Muertos tattoos have expanded beyond traditional forms into more contemporary styles. Artists experiment with realism, blending sugar skull imagery with portraits of loved ones to create lifelike memorial tattoos. Others take a neo-traditional or illustrative approach, adding bold outlines and surreal flourishes. Some combine the sugar skull with entirely different images, such as animals, landscapes, or religious symbols, to weave personal stories into the larger tapestry of Dia de los Muertos iconography. The adaptability of the sugar skull as a tattoo subject shows its universality as a symbol of life, death, and memory. The connection between Dia de los Muertos and tattoos ultimately speaks to a shared philosophy, that art can transcend time, space, and mortality. Just as the holiday invites the living to celebrate with the dead, tattoos invite memory to live on the body, permanent and visible. The sugar skull, in all its colorful complexity, becomes a bridge between worlds, reminding us that love does not vanish with death. Instead, it transforms, much like ink becomes part of the skin. In the end, a Dia de los Muertos tattoo is not simply about aesthetic beauty, though the designs are stunning. It is about carrying memory with you, about turning grief into color, about embracing the inevitability of death without fear. Art on Skin Magazine les desea a todos un bendito Dia de los Muertos. Que tus recuerdos vivan eternamente y encuentres paz al recordar a tus seres queridos fallecidos.